So I'm in OpenStax Statistics Chapter 10, and I'm in the Excel workbook, and I just want to briefly talk about the Degrees of Freedom calculator. So you can access the OpenStax textbook for free. Just look in the description of the video for a link. And the Excel workbook you're about to see, you can also get it for free at divideandconquermath.com. Just go to the OpenStax Statistics section. So this is the first tab of this workbook, and so I just kind of wanted to walk you through what this actually means. So when we move into having two populations and we need to come up with a degrees of freedom calculation, it's a little bit more cumbersome because this is the formula to get to your degrees of freedom. So you might think back to like when we had one population, usually to get to your degrees of freedom, it's n minus 1. Well, it just gets more complicated, and so this is a potential degrees of freedom calculation that you might have to do. And unfortunately, Excel does not have a way for you to easily do this. So what I have done here is I have just created this nice little calculator. So it is, the choice of your teacher really, whether or not you can use this calculator on tests or on quizzes. So you might have to kind of memorize how to do this formula on your own. If you're in my class, I typically will probably just allow you to use the degrees of freedom calculator just because this is a very cumbersome calculation and you use it for just very specific things. So the idea here is, so you have two populations. You have a group 1 and a group 2. And so the two things you need to know are what are the size of those two populations. So that's your N1 and your N2. And then what is the sample standard deviation of each of those groups. So that's going to be your S1 and your S2. And so what I've done here is I've made it so that all you have to do is tell me what is the N for each group and the S for each group. And then I have this formula here. As you can see, it's pretty long, but it will do everything that this calculation here is doing. And so then you can use this as your degrees of freedom moving forward. So that's the idea behind this, just a quick little thing, but it's a nice calculator to have as you're working through this chapter. Because this formula is just kind of cumbersome, and so it's nice to have it in one spot and then you can rely on it.